Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Love After 40. My name is Eva, and I'm your host this evening. This is a group of young people who are over 40 years old who are looking for love. Some have been single, some have been married, and some are going through different stages of their lives. And in the studio, we're here with our guest, Pastor Joe Wisdom. And this evening, we will ask him, or he will let us know about cultivating inner wisdom and humility in mature relationships. And Joe Wisdom,
Yes.
welcome to this evening. This is our first get
Much.
together
Thank you so much.
as Love After 40 group. And we're here to learn and to find out what it is that happens after 40 to relationships. We have so many challenges, and we're trying to meet people and live fulfilling lives. So maybe you'll introduce yourself and also tell us you're called Joe Wisdom. That's a very interesting name. Maybe you can explain to us.
Yes. Uh, Good evening, and uh, appreciate this opportunity and being part of this forum. I want to equally welcome all our viewers and listeners from all over the world. This is an international forum, and I want to appreciate you, Eva, and all other people who have been part of this plan and organization. I want to also thank God for giving us such an opportunity and platform to interact with our listeners and our sisters and brothers. I feel so much humbled just being part of what God is doing even in our time. And maybe if I can begin by possibly going with what, Eva has asked me to do. Joe Wisdom is a man, a married man for that matter, and Joe Wisdom is also an author of several books. By the grace of God, I've authored about 3 books: Wisdom for Wealth, Wisdom for Relationships, and Wisdom for Life. Um, Joe Wisdom is also a corporate trainer. I am involved in training corporates on different areas. One of them is personal development. I help people find their niche in the marketplace, explore their potential. And one of our signature program is what we call personal branding. Personal branding. In personal branding, we show people you are either a brand or a commodity, depending on the way you present yourself. Uh, Joe Wisdom is also a minister of the gospel by the grace of God, and I minister in Nairobi through Transformation Center. So my company is Wisdom Talks. That is through that's what we use in trainings, and in ministry we use Transformation Center. So I have admiration for wisdom, and that is why I rebranded to Joe Wisdom. Actually, all my books are on wisdom. All my topics, I speak on wisdom. And maybe as we continue to interact in this forum, we continue to hear more. And welcome all of us for this engagement. Thank you, Eva.
Thank you, Joe. Um, and as we're here tonight, we have invited you to speak to young people over 40 or after 40 who have been in relationships before, who have had challenges, and who want to better themselves and find out what it what is it that they can do so that their next relationships are better, they're more positive. So we have questions which have come up about
Yeah.
wisdom, about maturity. Maybe you can start us off and tell us a little bit about that.
Allow me to say that, and that is why actually I appreciate this forum, because we are living in a time where knowledge is not scarce. There's a lot of knowledge out there. YouTube is here with us, and a lot of seminars. I can see most of us who have been involved in doing uh, relationship dinners and singles dinners and all such kind of meetings. And so knowledge is everywhere. There's a lot of knowledge out there. Unfortunately, there is, as much as there's good knowledge, there is also knowledge that is not healthy, because we are exposed from both ends. So we are not just living in times where people are perishing for lack of knowledge. We are also in interesting times where people are suffering from what we call lack of wisdom. To me, I see it as lack of wisdom. And wisdom, by definition, is the ability to apply your knowledge correctly. That is wisdom. Your ability to apply your knowledge correctly. If you have knowledge, and good knowledge for that matter, your ability to apply that knowledge, that's what we call wisdom. If you can allow me to say also that uh, the information that we gather, we have a lot of information, and some of the information that we have is information that is gathered through uh, other people exposure experiences, and that is what we are getting as our knowledge. And people have different levels of experiences. So when we talk about maturity, even in relationships, maturity can come through exposure or other people's experiences or personal experiences. I'm privileged to be the first speaker under this forum. And I know I'm talking to people who are single from 4 dimensions, if I'm not wrong. People who are single from 4 dimensions. And one of the reasons why some people might be single is by choice. You can be single by choice. You have just chosen to live the way you are. That is informed by many other reasons. I don't want to mention them right now. Maybe we'll get there with time. Another reason why people are single is what we call divorce. You can be single because you are divorced. You can also be single because you are separated. And lastly, others are single not because of the 3 reasons, but because they are waiting on God and trusting God for an opportunity to get into marriage. So maturity comes as a result of those things that we go through. If you are divorced, there's maturity that you get simply because you have been there. You have been there. You have gotten in relationships. You've been hurt. You have seen your friends go through stuff, and that gives you some exposure or some experience that matures you. There are other people who are mature, possibly because of the things that they have seen other people go through, the things that they have seen other people go through, and say, I don't want to be like so and so. I don't like the way my sister treats the husband. If I get to a point where I get married, I will never go that way. I don't like the way my brother treats his wife. And so so the things that are around us have exposed us to so many things that have matured us. But again, the place of maturity, again here, is when we take those important lessons, do we just see things happening or do we learn from them? Because maturity comes as a result of learning. if you are learning from what you are able to see, that is what births maturity. And maturity also comes with age. There are some people who are watching us right now and listening to us right now, and possibly you are 50 or 55 or even 60 or even 40 actually is good enough for anyone to be mature in whichever capacity. So maturity is not just a function of age, but also experience. So I think if I can talk about maturity in relation to the wisdom that we get, there's wisdom that comes with time. Kuna watu Mswahili alisema kuishi kwingi kuona mengi. So there are people who have gone through stuff, and that has hardened you and that has matured you. There are people who have seen other people go through stuff, and that has matured you, and that also has helped you grow or outgrow some things. There are things that you see people go through and you say, I will not treat my husband the way I see this person treating. I will not treat my children. I will not treat my mother. I will not treat my parents the way I see so and so treat me. So maturity can be a function of time, and it can also be a function of experiences or the exposure that we get.
Okay. Thank you, Joe, for that introduction about maturity and wisdom. And you're very right. I've been talking to the Love After 40 for the last 1 week, and they've been sharing their experiences, and most of them say, yes, I've gone through this. I have seen things I did think I would see. I will never go back there again. Do you think that the wisdom comes from being able to identify or to decide, I know what I've gone through and I'm not going back there again? So boundaries, there are things that you can take and there are things that you will not take because of what you've gone through. Yes, please explain.
Yeah.
Expound.
Yes. So allow me also to add that sometimes maturity also comes as a result of the knowledge that you have. You've just mentioned that there are things that you go through and you learn. You can also read. You can also read and expose yourself to knowledge about a certain subject or what you're going through, and that also matures you. So maturity is ability now to learn from those mistakes, from other people's mistakes. That is what we call maturity. And that is also the wisdom part of maturity. Maturity doesn't just come by learning, but also not going back to what brought you down. There's something that I would want to touch on, and especially as a single person, being a gent, being a lady, when you go through difficult moment in a relationship, sometimes you are not able to get out of it, and when possibly some other people intervene and comes in and helps you out of that situation, you may fear getting back to it, not because of the maturity that you have gained, but because of fear. There's something we call gamophobia. Gamophobia is that fear of getting into of getting married because of the things that you have seen people go through. So at that point, maturity does not amount to fear. Maturity is not fear. Maturity is learning your experience, learning from what you have gone through and knowing how to be a better person. Let me say this. Maturity points out to your place of responsibility. That's what I call maturity. You have been in a relationship. You know the mistakes you've done. You know the flaws of the other person. But you keep asking yourself, what is my place of responsibility? What did I contribute if this relationship failed? What is my contribution? Maturity is not just pointing others that I know what I want. This person did not do this. This person failed in this area. Maturity also comes as a result of self-introspection, looking within, looking within, not just without, and asking, which is my place? What is my place of responsibility? What did I do that culminated to where I stand right now? I think that is one part of maturity. The other part of maturity, Ivan, is what are my areas of growth? What are my areas of growth? Now that I've gone through this issue, now that I'm losing a relationship for the third time or second time, which are my areas of growth? Which area do I need to outgrow? Which are those things that I feel are bringing me down or are making me a victim of the same thing? Because anything that you don't handle in your time, anything that you don't handle at a certain point in life, it will pursue you in the next stage if you are not careful. Actually, this is what we say, that if you're not careful to handle the serpent in your current moment, you'll not be able to handle a dragon in the days to come. So running away from a problem, because sometimes we detach ourselves from a relationship because we feel uncomfortable, we feel we are being pushed towards an edge that we are not ready to explore. Running away from that problem is not solving it, but postponing it. So maturity, I'm looking at it from those two dimensions. You are identifying your place of responsibility, and number two, identifying your areas of growth.
Okay. Thank you, Joe, for that explanation. And you think you're very right. In the discussions that I've been having, a lot of people have been talking about their experiences, and for most of them, it's always the other person who's at fault. He did this, he did that, he did the other. She did this, she did that. And sometimes you can feel the pain they're going through, that they haven't forgotten about it. Yes, they would want another relationship, but as you point out, have they sat down and thought, how did I contribute to the situation? Because it's never 100% on either side. So that is a very important point. And also I like the fact that you've talked about areas of growth and areas of outgrowth, because after an experience, what you look back and you say, what have I learned? And what do I need to learn? Am I too hard? Am I too tough? Do I need to soften? Do I need to be able to accept people the way they are? Are my standards too high? Do I have very high expectations? And what will I not take? If I'm the one who is providing everything, I'm paying the rent, I'm paying the school fees, I'm buying the food, and my partner is not doing anything, am I going, and I've learned that, am I going to be going to another situation where that is going to happen? So the relationships and maturity, do you think healing, although healing will come at a later topic, do you think there's a time period that is needed before somebody can go on to the next relationship?
Yes, I think so. But Ivan, these are very interesting conversation, because from where we sit or where we stand, we say that where you stand or where you sit determines what you see. Now, there are people who are always very quick to defend themselves, and they get a rebound. You know, after quitting a relationship, or maybe you've broken up, and you feel like, I'm not hurting. You know, I'm not hurting. I think I can get on and into another relationship and just move on. But many times we are living in denial. Sometimes, and I want to give this example. I've seen people who have had a car crash, God forbid. And after the car crash, somehow maybe there are those who have not been so much hurt. Na utaona mtu ametokea, you see someone who have come out and saying that, hey, I thank God I've not been hurt anywhere. And you'll tell that person, please go to hospital just for a checkup. And they'll tell you, no, I'm okay, I'm not hurt. Only for that person to just walk away. After possibly a week or 1 month, they start complaining about their head. They start complaining about a certain part of their body. So in the beginning, they never felt the hurt. But with the time, that hurt will manifest, that pain will manifest. So what I'm saying is that even if you are in a relationship, maybe a 2 weeks relationship, 3 months, 4 months, 2 years, 10 years relationship, you cannot just get into another relationship immediately. It is wisdom to give yourself time. And time will prove to you whether you are hurting or not. Possibly even the way you communicate. There are people who speak with a lot of bitterness, yet they want to say that I'm not hurting, I'm okay, someone cannot, my life cannot stop, I still, and that's also the time when you become very vulnerable and you can fall into bad hands, careless hands, because there are also people out there who want to take advantage of your situation. That's the moment that the enemy sends, that's the time you come across the devil himself, what we call the devil incarnate, someone who comes masquerading as the angel of light. They will seem very understanding, they sound so understanding, they demonize the person who left you, who hurt you, they will say what heartless kind of a person you are dealing with. They didn't know what they had. You are such a gorgeous person, you are such a humble person, and they'll tell you all manner of sweet nothings that possibly anyone want to hear. But what you don't know is that that person will take advantage of your situation, and after they are done with you, you'll never see them around you. So what you're here saying, Eva, is that it's important, is very, very, very important to give yourself time. It's also time that you tell you whether you are hurting or not. It's not you telling yourself, I'm not hurt. Sometimes you cannot trust your own feelings. Sometimes you are confused as well. Yeah. Thank you, Eva.
Thank you. You made me remember there's one phrase that a lot of people use. They say they've gone through character development because of the way somebody has really made them change or made them see that life can be very difficult. And I think you're very right when you say that we live relationships and we meet somebody and they promise the earth, the moon, the world, and we think that everything is going to be okay. And it's true that a lot of people are taken advantage of. How can we help ourselves and stop and think twice before getting into a new relationship? Just because somebody tells me, oh, don't worry, that guy was bad, I'm a good person and everything, what are the things that should always be at the back of my mind before I jump into another relationship, before I think my Prince Charming has come along and finally my world is going to be beautiful?
Eva, I think I lost you at some point, kindly.
Yes, I was saying that how can we be able to know? Is there a way that we can know when these so-called people who are coming to take advantage of us, these people who want to to make us think that they're God's gift to us, that they're the ones we've been waiting for, yet all they want to do is to lie to us, to cheat us, to steal from us even? How can we be able to prevent that? Is there a way that we can be able to prevent that so that we just don't take the first guy who comes along or the first person who tells me he loves me, then I go along with him?
I'm sorry, I think my network is misbehaving, so kindly.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can get you now. Yes, please. Okay. Just repeat the last point.
Yes, I was. You talked about people who come into our lives and take advantage of us.
Yes.
And yes, they were the ones who come and tell us the sweet things and make us forget the hurt that we went through, and they're very kind to us. Is there a way for us to be able to recognize them, even a mile away before they get to us?
Yes. Eva, let me tell you something. What normally happens, and I'm speaking this as a counselor, and I've heard of these cases so many times. Normally what happens is that the enemy knows when the enemy will always visit at your weakest point. That's when the enemy visits. Your enemy, even in real life, would want to hurt you where you hurt most. He would want to hit you where you are hurt most, where you are hurting most. At some point in life, I was very fond of wrestling, and these wrestlers would sometimes be hit at a certain point, maybe a certain leg. And because they know if they indicate that they are weak in that leg, the opponent will continue hitting the same leg. They will pretend the other point, or they will pretend they are hurting the other side. So what I'm saying is that sometimes the enemy will target our weakest point in life, our weakest places, and our weakest levels. So the easiest way you can identify whether this person is for real or is just taking you for a ride is their interest in your life. Is their interest in your life. And let me especially talk to ladies at this point, because ladies have been victims in this game for a long time. Whenever you see a man coming to you purporting to be the alpha and omega of your problems, you need to take a deep thought about that relationship. You need to be very, very careful. Or someone who poses like they are coming to sort out all your issues. They come as solutions to all your problems. Be very, very, very careful. And I'm not saying that that person might not be the right person, but I'm saying be careful. In one of my books, Wisdom for Relationships, I've indicated on what we call, I've written about what we call relationship black spots. That is a black spot. That's a black spot, a black spot. A black spot doesn't mean that when you get there, you stop or you don't drive through. A black spot means that when you are driving along that path that is pegged as a black spot, be careful, be careful. When such a man shows up, showing you, when such a lady shows up in your life as a man, you have broken up, possibly you are hurting, and this person comes to showing you how they will sort out all your problems, how they carry solutions. They can't run out of options. You are telling them you have this challenge, they are there to sort it out. Be very, very, very careful. But again, there's someone else who will come and they will be taking you back to where you are coming from and telling you, we need to fix this. This is the way we need to go. Possibly you need to see a counselor. And they are not even in a hurry. They are not in a hurry. They want to heal. They want you to heal fast. Others want you to take advantage of you, even at that point where you are hurting. So how to get to know the real person is what is their interest in your life at that point.
Would you say that it's important for us to, as we meet people and we come from the heart, we want to go forward, we want to get into relationships, where does friendship come in? Because sometimes it's so easy just to meet somebody and just get into the relationship, and then within a matter of months or weeks, we are hurting again. Where does friendship come into in at this stage when we're coming from relationships?
Allow me to say, Eva, that friendship is the best place to begin a relationship. Friendship. And I usually give this, I don't know whether, okay, for anyone who cares, possibly, you can take this as my counsel. Never just run a relationship by yourself. Whenever you find a man or a lady who is interested, or you are interested getting into a relationship with, the first thing that you should do after you realize that this person is serious, there's the normal coffee dates that you go, possibly once in a while you meet that person, you are communicating. At some point you get to know, even as a lady or as a man, that this person looks serious. By the moves and by the way they are communicating, the way they suggestively, possibly they are behaving in a manner to suggest that they want this as a serious relationship. Now, when you get there, it's always advisable to get someone else around that relationship. And this other person that you get around that relationship possibly can be a mentor in a relationship. And when I talk about mentorship in relationships, Every person needs a mentor, regardless of how old you are, regardless your age. You need a mentor. Actually, the law of mentorship states that if you are too big to be taught, then you are too small to teach. If you are too big to be taught, then you are too small to teach. You can never mentor if you are not mentored. That means that you have someone who is mentoring you in relationships. There's someone that you can talk to. There's someone that you are able to express your feelings to, even when you feel down, when you feel discouraged. There is this person that you can always talk to, this person that you can always call. You need some counsel in a certain area of life. You can always have that person. Now, when you realize that this man or this lady is serious, the first thing that you should do after the coffee date, introduce this person to your mentor. Introduce them to your mentor. That will now make this friendship get it to another level. Introduce them to your mentor. Get to hear from your mentor, because after the engagement with your mentor is someone who is interested with your life, with no strings attached. Remember, this is someone you honor, this is someone you look up to. So this is not someone who wants you frustrated. This is someone who is always there to guard you and to protect you. This is someone who is acting to from the uttermost interest of what will better your life. That means when you introduce this person to your friends, you have started opening up your network to them, and not just any other network, people who matter to you. So when you introduce them to your mentor, at that point, Eva, you get now to hear from other people who are close to you. You get to hear. Huyo mtu wako aje? They will tell you, what I think you need to take some more time. Didn't nilimsikia the way I had that guy. Listen to take time. The way I had that lady, please take some more time.
Okay, thank you very much for that. And it's true that sometimes we meet new people, we don't introduce them to our friends, we don't introduce them to our family, and somebody can ask us why, and we say, it's not the right time. But at the back of our minds, maybe we also know that there's something that is not right, but we don't want to admit it to ourselves, because they're interested in us, and we're craving for attention and craving to be liked and loved. So we accept them, but we won't introduce them to people who are our friends. The other topic that we were supposed to discuss was humility in mature relationships. And the question I've been getting a lot is, what is humility? Is it the same as submission? Are they different? Because somebody can say, if I'm a humble person, then I'm a submissive person. And what does submission mean, or what does humility mean in mature relationships?
When we talk about humility, I think I will begin with humility. I don't want to go to the dictionary meaning of humility, but the layman's understanding of humility. Humility is basically power under control. Power under control. You might be having a lot of areas of strength as an individual. You know there are things you know you can do. There are things that you are able doing. There are things you can handle as a person. Now, you have a strong personality for that matter. Now, when that is under control, that is humility. Humility is when you know that the person I'm dating, the person I'm seeing has got this weakness. But I will not be quick to judge because I know I'm strong in that area. I will allow them. I will allow them. I will not be quick to correct them. That is humility. I'll listen to them. You know, I know I can speak some polished English, and my or the person I'm seeing is possibly that person who speaks broken English, and you keep correcting them even in public. Give them time. Humility is giving them time to outgrow some issues. You are not just there to pinpoint mistakes, to correct them. You know, you are giving them an opportunity to grow. That is humility. Whereas when we talk about submission, I want to look at submission from a point of that word. Actually, the word submission comes from two words. si tu kunyenyekea, the way we know submission is some when the man says this, you say yes sir. That is not what we call submission. That word submission comes from two words. The first word is sub, and the second word is mission. Submission. Sub means part of something. And I'm defining the word submission from the marriage point of view, the relationship point of view, because that's where our discussion is anchored. Now, the word sub means part of something. Part of. Sub means part of something. That's why we talk about sub-county. Sub-county. Nairobi sub-county. Juja sub-county. Dagoretti sub-county. Sub means part of something. Sub-chief is part of chief. Sub is part of something. Now, mission is the purpose. Mission explains purpose. Why are you there? Why are you doing what you are doing? That is your mission. And every person have got a mission in life. Every man has got a mission in life. Every woman has got a mission. What is your mission in life? Why are you on the surface of the earth? That mission. So when we talk about submission in the understanding of a man or husband-wife relationship, we are talking of the ability of the woman to be part of what God has called the man to do. Being part of his vision, being part of his assignment. That is submission. Submitting your vision to his vision. Submitting what you are being called. Because you realize that when people are connecting, and Eva, maybe because I don't want to extend this discussion, possibly we'll get to a place where we'll ask ourselves, what are the true indicators of the right relationship? That this person, what will make me know that this is the right man for me, this is the right woman for me? Maybe we'll explain more when we get there. But submission is when you become part. When you become part. Tulikuwa tunaenda Nairobi, the husband wanted to go to Nairobi and the wife was going to Thika. Now, if both of you are having a discussion and an argument for that matter, because both of you feel both our missions are important. Submission is when one is able to say, I agree, we can go to Nairobi first, then later on we can go to Thika. That is submission. Ability to be part of what the other person is doing.
Thank you very much, Joe. And in fact, when you said when you started talking about the mission and the vision, we had discussed about as a couple, or when you're looking for somebody, are you looking for somebody who has a vision, who knows where they're going, what they want to do? Do they have something in their lives that is pushing them, that is molding them? Because if you meet somebody and they don't do anything, they just live for today and don't care about tomorrow, what does that say about them? The other topic that we wanted to talk about is trust in relationships, because some people trust so much in relationships and they're so honest in relationships, and then they wonder, was I too honest? Was I too trustful? How are we supposed to identify whether we are doing too much of it, or whether this is not a trustworthy person? I shouldn't even be in this situation in the first place. Maybe you can talk about that.
I want to handle trust in view of communication. That is number one, communication. And number two, I want to talk about trust in view possibly of our past, of our past, the things we have gone through. Now, in relationships, trust is a very key component. And we are living in days where in our nation, we have an association of truthful men. I don't know whether that is extending to relationships or it's just politics. Now, when we talk about trust, we are talking about being open, being an open book to your partner. But you realize, and this is one of the common mistakes single people make. One of the common mistakes single people make is sharing too much too soon. When you share too much too soon, or trusting too quickly, you are trusting too quickly until you begin telling people things that they have not qualified to hear. Information in relationships should be taken like medicine, or should be given like medicine in doses. You should dispense information in relationship like medicine in doses, because you must give the other person time. Number one, to understand you, and also to grow to the level. There are people who love so quickly. There are people who love too quickly, and they fall in love without even giving it too much time. There are others who have been hurt over time, and before they give you their trust, you must prove yourself. So when we talk about trust, we must also not speak too much before the right time. There are things you'll tell someone, Eva. There are things that you tell someone and you'll never see that person again. You go for the first date, you go for the second date, and you're telling this person that that you have you have divorced 3 times, or you have been left 2 times by people without giving you reasons. That person is not ready to hear that. Possibly you can give them time to understand you, and also to share their part of story. You realize that there are things that you come to you and you share maybe a common history, and that will settle them to a place of understanding. So trust is very important, and communication should come with the time. Don't go telling people about your grandmother was stoned. There's a post I did a year ago that I was being reminded today. Now, you go telling someone that your grandmother was stoned in your village because she was a suspected witch, and you are there in a date and expecting this person to treat you like a queen. They'll begin to suspect you as well. So let this information be shared. I even advise Eva, the first date, don't go telling someone you have a kid. As much as you want to be honest, first know what is their interest. What is their interest? Because when you begin opening up your life, then that person leaves. You feel the guilty of exposing yourself unnecessarily. See the seriousness of this person, then begin to dispense the truth as they open up also.
That is very insightful. I think a lot of people do that. They meet somebody and you think, let me show them who I am. I tell them everything I need to tell them, and they will still like me. And then they never call us for a second date and we wonder what happened. So I think that is something very interesting, and I like the fact that you said we give information like medicine in small doses, and that trust is earned. They should earn our trust slowly and completely. Okay, thank you very much, Pastor Joe, for this insightful and interesting topic about wisdom and humility in relationships. And I'm sure when you counsel people, there are a lot of issues that come up, maybe about the in-laws. Maybe you could touch a bit about in-laws, because that's a topic that keeps coming up quite often. Yes, thank you.
Many marriages have been broken because of the in-laws, and the issue of in-laws is not about literally the in-laws themselves. It's about the couple itself. Because if you're not able to agree from the beginning on how you'll deal with your in-laws, there shall be problems. There will be problems in the future. So as you begin to meet with this person and discuss important issues, actually courtship, that period that you are having coffee dates, that you are having some time, some vacations together, that time is the time that you should handle these things. And by this, at this point, you must know how your spouse or your spouse to be, or your partner to be, relates with the parents. There are some people that you connect with and they have carried their families and their extended families all by their shoulders. They are educating their sisters, their brothers, their relatives look up to them, and they say, we educated you, you are this and that in our family, so you must do these things. And when you get into that relationship, you knew that this man, is the breadwinner to the extended family or to the nuclear or to the immediate family. Sometimes they are even paying loans for their brothers and sisters. Sometimes they are even constructing houses for their parents. So these are some of the things that you should seek to understand. Today I had a case of someone calling me and telling me that they are dealing with someone who is a mama's boy. And they have to report to their mother everything they are doing. These are not things that you get as a surprise in marriage. These are things that are manifested even in the relationship. But you see, Eva, many times we overlook them. Sometimes we are too drunk of this love, and sometimes we cannot make sober decisions. A good example is when you take a man takes you out, or you take your man out for coffee, and at some point, this person is late. The waiter is late, possibly to bring the coffee, and the man starts harassing the waiter in the hotel. Actually, some of them would even ask, kwani hii chai inavurutwa kwa shimo? Is this tea coming from a borehole? Because it's taking too much time. And as a lady, possibly will just smile, telling him that he is very comical. But what you don't know is that he is saying that to a waiter, someone they are not related, someone they don't know, they have just met them for the first time. How much more will they question you when you get to the house? So when we talk about in-laws, there are signals. We must be looking at how are they relating with their mothers? How are they relating with their parents? If you are a man, how does this girl relate with the father or with the brothers? So from that point, you'll be able to know what are the boundaries. You can discuss that in the relationship so that by the time you are getting in for marriage, everything is very clear.
Thank you very much for that. In fact, you've made me think of something else that we always meet people and they do things like what you have just discussed. Go to a restaurant, and the person is rude to the waiter, and in our minds we say, it's okay, he's not like that, or we make excuses for them and we say they will change. Do people change, or do we comforting ourselves because we love them so much, so we make excuses for them? Do people change? That is my question.
Allow me to say that yes, people do change. People change, and I'm saying this change in quotes because sometimes situations and circumstances change, and that provokes people to be the true version of themselves. A good example, and I don't know whether Eva you can hear me. My screen is still.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. So people change in quotes, and sometimes we have not really come to know who these people really are. Allow me to say that at some point you can marry a man, you can get into a relationship with a man who is not doing very well financially, and you see him as a very humble man. You'll find a woman who is not doing very well, pengine amesukumwa na mambo in life, and they look very humble, they look very welcoming, they are soft-spoken, but wait until they get money. The other version of their lives will manifest. So we can't say that that person changed, only that we didn't know both versions of that person. There's always the two sides of a coin, and it's good to have the understanding of how this person behaves. Maybe we know him or her when they are happy. How do they behave when they are angry? So we need to get this understanding so that we don't say that this person changed. We know this person possibly when they have money. There are people who are very generous when they have money. They are very jovial. They can do anything. When they have no money, they don't talk to anyone. They are depressed when they don't have money. They even begin insulting people. Hataki kuitishwa kitu, So it's good to know people from different versions. Expose yourself, especially when in a relationship, to both versions of these people. And some of these things you learn them, Eva, when you also interact with the close associates of this person. So get to know who are their friends. Through this, you get to know the other version. Because at some point you hear them say, wewe ukikosa pesa wewe unakaanga this or that. Wewe ukisota unakuanga hivi na hivi. So you get to know this kind of a person through some other people's comments.
Yes, and that is very interesting that sometimes we meet people, but we have no idea who their friends are. We can even date them for a whole year. We've never met their so-called best friend. We don't even know where they live. We don't know their sisters or their brothers. They just meet with us when we're having a good time. But if you ask them, hey, Bana, where are your friends? When are we meeting them? They give excuses. So that is something that we should also be looking at. If they're not ready to share their world with us, then there must be something that is wrong. Thank you very much. Now we have about 5 minutes left, and what I would like us to discuss lastly is something you mentioned about courtship. What is this courtship? We hear the word so much, but we don't really understand why we need to court each other, why we need to go through it, and what we're going to learn as we go through a courtship. Maybe you can explain for us?
Courtship is that period between you meeting and us relating as friends, and that time where you now want to make this decision that this is the right partner, this is what I need. You can break a courtship. This is the time you give yourself to meet friends, mutual friends, possibly make friends together. Some have some time, to just take walks together, have dinners together. You want to understand this kind of a person. Actually, the time of courtship is when we build friendship. Is the time we build friendship. At courtship, possibly, I don't expect people to sleep around when you are courting. And this is a mistake that many people do. When you are courtship, someone will tell you, I want to feel you, I want to know what kind of a woman you are, and how will I know, and all manner of reasoning that pushes someone to compromise. Because they are saying that how can I know that you are normal? How can I know? So courtship is basically a moment to build friendship. You are building your friendship. This is now when you get to know when this person gets angry, how do they react? This is the time to know this person. What are the values of this person? What is the value system? When they are called by their mother, how do they respond? Or is he the kind of a person, or is she the kind of a person saying, and he is talking about the parents? Courtship is that time where you get to know how he responds to his friends where they have needs. Close friends. So and so is distressed somewhere, they are calling them and say, mimi sahi siwezi enda kusaidia, mimi sahi siwezi fanya kitu. Or you hear them making some comments that send signals to you that this is the kind of a person I'm dealing with. If I was in danger, just like his friend is, this person cannot come to rescue me. So courtship is a place where you want to study and learn the values of this person and what this person stands for, the belief system. You want to get to know what is the extent to which this person can go to pay the price of your relationship.
Okay, thank you very much.
And it's very important, actually. It's very important for you to quote, yes.
Yes. One of the last questions before we close up is a very simple question. How do I know who the right person is? If there's a right person.
Yes. I believe there's always a right person, because God is not the author of confusion either. God is not the author of confusion. I'll give you a very simple formula. And this is the genesis and part of my book, Wisdom for Relationship. This is what I say. Purpose comes before partner. You can pin that somewhere, Eva, for our listeners and our viewers. Purpose comes before partner. Before you go looking for a partner, what's your purpose in life? Where are you going? What have you been called to do? What is your assignment in life? Because if you don't know who you are, you will never know what you want. Anytime you meet with someone from a point of purpose, you can be sure that relationship will stand the test of time. Purpose is important. Meet at a point of purpose. Many people are meeting, moja anaenda Thika, mwingine anaenda Nairobi, and both of you mumekutana possibly bypass na mnavurutana, kila mtu anataka kwenda kwake, kila mtu anataka kwenda. At the end of the day, you'll never agree on anything apart from getting children. But when you agree, where are you going? You want to listen to this man. He'll tell you, I feel I'm called to go to Kisumu. And inside you as a woman, you feel that you are being called to go to Nakuru. Therefore you feel, this person is headed in my direction. That means, personally, as a lady, I will get to my destination, which is Nakuru, and I'll also get to explore more, even as we go to where you have been called, that is Kisumu. So there will be new experiences. But when you are called towards different directions, actually you don't agree on anything. Huyu anasema anatakaga hivi, huyu anasema anatakaga, you will never agree. So meet at a point of purpose.
Thank you very much. And for our last question, because it's past time, money in relationships. What do the men do? What do the women do? We have always known traditionally the men are the providers of the home. In this day and age, things have changed. How do we navigate the changes of money in relationships?
That is one topic, and I would advise anybody who want to get into a relationship, please get into a premarital class. Get into a premarital class. And I also know that there are people who got into premarital classes, yet their marriages never worked. But that does not disqualify a premarital class, because these topics will be handled: money, family, and finances. When you get to family, this is my belief, and maybe I can be corrected. I start correct, it can be, but I believe that there's no your money and my money. When you get into a relationship, it's family money. And depending on the way and the school of thought and how you have been brought up, when the family money comes, you can budget that money as a family. What are our priorities? What do we do? Sometimes even people share responsibilities. Take care of the kitchen, take care of food, I'll take care of school fees and rent and other things. So when it comes to finances, it's all about getting the necessary knowledge that you need about finances and aligning to that budget that you have agreed. Otherwise, you will have issues, you'll get into debt, na mukikuja kuchotwa, mutachotwa nyinyi wote.
And what about with the situations whereby it's only one partner who is bringing in all the money and the other one doesn't look like they care, they're bothered, the rent is paid, there's food on the table, kids' school fees are paid? What happens in that situation, or how should we handle it?
Sometimes it looks very normal when a man is doing it. Allow me to say that. Sometimes it looks very normal when a man is paying the school fees, everything, and possibly the wife is possibly a full-time mom, or that there are no issues at that point. But wait until the woman is the one doing it. And I've interacted with men, Eva, who are full-time dads. Actually, we call them stay-home dads. That concept is there nowadays. And we have men who are homeschooling their children and taking care of home, chores and all that. And at some point they have agreed, possibly the work they do doesn't require them to go to the office. So the woman is out there doing things in the office, and out there the man works from home and he's taking care of the affairs of home. Maybe they have decided that because the woman's job is a bit stable than the man's job. So it's all about what you agree. Marriage is about two people who are working in agreement.
Communication.
What you agree is what works for you. But when you listen to other people saying, "Well, umekaliwa, mimi siwezi nikalisha mtu," you will not get anywhere. People are gifted differently. Yes.
So communication is something that we should definitely strive for. Whenever we meet somebody, if we cannot communicate, if we cannot find a way forward, then there's a problem.
Yes, that's true.
Okay. Thank you very much, Joe Wisdom. You have enlightened us on so many things about relationships. And as we continue going forward, as we look forward to meeting new people and getting into new relationships, we shall take these lessons with us. And I believe our listeners and people who have shown up for this session with us have also learnt a lot. And I believe that there's still so much more that you can teach us. And I know we'll be getting in touch with you later for more information about this topic. Thank you very much, Joe Wisdom. This has been Love After 40, and we have been here discussing relationships, about wisdom, about humility, about trust and honesty and communication, and owning up to our part in relationships. So much we have learned today. Thank you very much, so that we can be able to meet here tomorrow. We have another topic, same time, 8 o'clock. We shall be here with another guest and another topic from Love After 40. Thank you very much and good night.
Good night. Thank you.